Hey, what's up Team Techvengers? As some of you might know, we love smart home products and I've been constantly looking for a reliable smart lock solution to add to my home. Something with minimal installation, but also not too expensive. In the growing ecosystem of IoT devices, there are a couple names that stand out, such as August or Nest, that allows you to control your door lock from an app. But these devices are in turn really expensive, at least until now. Wyze, a Seattle-based company that started in 2017, is really changing up the smart home landscape. One of the many products that they offer that we'll be covering today is the Wyze Smart Lock. Now before I jump into this review, just want to put this out there. If you love technology that can make your life easier, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check out all the sweet tech that we cover on our channel. First and foremost, the thing that stood out to me most about this product was the pricing. This Wi-Fi Bluetooth enabled lock is $89.99 USD, and that is my idea of affordable. Now, before we continue, full disclosure as always, Wyze sent us this lock to put it through its paces and give them and you our honest feedback on this. So I'm not going to be holding anything back when talking about this device, and all the opinions on this video are my own. Also, if for any reason after this review you feel like purchasing this product, we got affiliate links down below. You're not paying a cent more, and all it does is help support us so we can bring you guys honest and informative content like this. Now that you know the price, let's talk about the value and what you get for your hard-earned dollars. Out of the box, we have the Wyze lock itself made of plastic, but feels solid with some heft, the instruction manual, and a quick start guide, the Wyze gateway, which is important for the device to connect to, and we'll cover this a bit more later, 4 AA batteries, good on them for including that, and finally the mounting plate and adapters, depending on what existing lock you have. The quick setup guide was simple to understand, and for those of you who needed to go a bit more in depth, the installation guide on the app did just the trick. Now, although you can access the installation guide through the settings of the lock itself, it has to be paired first in order for you to get to that section, or if you install the gateway first, which in my case wasn't the situation. What I would love to see is a quick access to all the installation guides for Wyze products, right when you open the app. Maybe an easy to locate section in the settings. I don't want to have to pair it first or go digging around in order to install it. Needless to say, the installation took me a bit over the promised 15 minutes that Wyze advertises, but that was mainly because I needed to find the right adapter for my existing lock. I'm glad they include different types depending on what lock you have. In order to install, we just had to pull the backside of the door lock, which is what we were replacing, and mount the new lock backplate in its place. The backplate has 2 configurations, and it was easy to align the screws from my existing lock with it. Once I mounted the actual unit, I was able to turn the lock to make sure the bolt was moving in succession. Once it was attached, we just had to tighten 2 screws, pop in the batteries, and we were pretty much good to go. Attaching the lock back cover was simple, as it had magnetic mounts that snap into place. Now, some might see this as a downside, but I personally think it's excellent that nothing on the front of the door changes. You can use the same key you've always been using if you need to, and no one on the outside will know that you have a smart lock installed. Okay, so the best part, setting up your lock with the app. Now, just as a side note, in order for the lock to communicate with the app, we need to plug in the included gateway. Wyze Lock uses Zigbee to communicate with the gateway, so be sure to have it within the suggested 50 feet radius. As soon as we plugged in the gateway and started the pairing process, it was quick to pick up the lock and we were able to configure all the settings without a hitch. It would ask us to configure the name of the lock and then calibrate it as well. The calibration is due to the auto lock feature, which we'll be getting into shortly. Now that we have it configured, let's walk you through what we can do in the app. The main screen shows us all our Wyze products, and side note, if you want to see our review on the Wyze Cam, Wyze Scale, and the Wyze Band, be sure to hit that subscribe button as those will be coming out shortly. I like the clean layout of the home screen, but one thing I wish I could do was be able to lock and unlock the door from the main page. Instead, we are only given the status of the lock and we need to tap it and go into the lock page, and from there we can lock or unlock the device. It's a bit cumbersome, but can be rectified in a software update if the company chooses to go that route. From this page, we can see the overall history of when the door was locked, unlocked, and opened. Going back to when I mentioned calibrating the device, the reason for that was to allow the door to know when it is opened or closed, so it can automatically lock it when it's closed. This is a great feature that Wyze decided to include so that you don't need an added door sensor, although this doesn't do the job quite as well as I was hoping. When it works great, and gives you the option to automatically lock the door when closed. If you don't want it to immediately auto lock upon closing, you can configure it in the settings to wait a minute or more, depending on your preference. I set it to a minute and it worked great throughout my usage. There is some sort of sensor in the lock that can detect when it's opened and closed, but I found at times that it would lose calibration and would need to be recalibrated. I'm assuming that this can also be fixed in a firmware update. Now there's an option in the settings that allow an alarm to sound if the door is left open or if there's some sort of jam that is preventing it from closing. Definitely a useful feature, and you can customize the amount of time to wait before the alarm sounds, so it's not always going off if you intend to leave it for a bit. That brings us to the auto unlock feature, which is also in the settings. Auto unlock allows you to geofence based on your location. If you came home after being away for a while, it will automatically unlock when you approach the door. Works in theory, right? Absolutely, and we had no issues when this occurred. However, if you're just going out to the backyard or within the geofencing area, which is quite large by the way, it won't work. Not to mention, you'll have to give the app permission to use your location always, so if you're wary about that, it's probably best to leave it off. I left it off and prefer to just unlock it using a key or the external keypad. Perfect transition into what I want to talk about next, the keypad. This is sold separately and comes with everything you need to mount it outside. I'm not sure on the pricing for the keypad as Wyze hasn't released that yet, but I imagine it can't be too expensive. The thing that I don't like about this keypad being separate is that theft would be super easy. Someone could literally just pull this off and easily make a run for it. Why'd they want to do that? I can't tell ya. But there's no anti-theft mechanism to make this impossible. That being said, it was easy to pair in the lock settings. Once the keypad is paired, you can set custom codes for yourself and your guests. When setting up a guest code, you would enter their name and when they can have access to the lock. You can choose from a permanent code, a recurring code for specific times or days of the week, a temporary code that has a specific time limit, and finally a one-time access code which self-destructs after use. If you don't have the keypad, you can still share access to your lock to someone else with a smartphone when they download the app. When you share through the app, you don't have the ability to have custom share features like the keypad, but you can delete the user when you no longer want them to have access. So here's my hot take on the Wyze lock. For under $100, I've been ultimately impressed with how much value the lock can actually deliver. Like everything tech related, it does have its shortcomings, but the value you get and the future value it can possibly deliver through software updates is enough to say that this lock would be worth purchasing. A lot of the competitors out there are almost double the price. Now, when you're looking at the aspect of whether you should trust a fairly new company like Wyze, especially after recent data breaches on their server, yeah, that's a very valid question. When I hear about companies that have had data breaches, and trust me, no company is immune to this, not even the bigger ones. Hell, even Nest has fallen victim to this. But I look at how they deal with this after the fact. To me, Wyze stands out as one of those companies that is very transparent as to what it is doing to beef up its security. This is a growing pain for any company starting out, and if they haven't done much to gain our trust again, then they're out the door, quite literally. To me, smart locks are great because I'd rather have notifications coming straight to my phone when a door is unlocked or opened than not knowing at all until I got home. That's how I see it. I want to hear what you guys think. Drop a comment down below, and if you have any questions about the lock, we'll be happy to answer them for you. We have a couple more Wyze products that we're reviewing in the coming weeks, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss out on it. In the meantime, you can sift through some of our previous content. Hey, you might enjoy it and probably learn some stuff along the way. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on how this video has or hasn't helped you. And leave us a comment as to why, because we love your feedback and it just helps make our content better for you guys. Oh, and affiliate links down below. If you think this lock is dope and you want to get it, go ahead and click it at no extra cost to you. It just helps us out. It's been a pleasure, guys. Thanks for sticking here till the end. I'm Jerry the Techvenger. Don't forget, when it comes to tech, the Techvengers are there. We got your back.